Okay, now to the Parsha. It's Parshat Chayei Sarah, and this is the story of a generational shift. It is the story of Isaac and Rebekah falling in love, and they're the next generation of leaders in what Debbie calls our water family. But what is also true is that this is the Parsha named for Sarah, Chayei Sarah, and at the very beginning of it, we lose our matriarch. We lose Sarah. And the beginning of the Parsha sounds like this. If you'd like to look it up, it's chapter 23, verse 1. It's Chaf Gimel, Pasuk Aleph. ויהיו חיי שרה 120 שנה ו7 שנים שני חיי שרה. And if you look at the way the words are placed, it's a very strange phrasing. Literally, and these were the years of Sarah, 100 years and 20 years and 7 years, the years of Sarah's life. The translation that we usually have says Sarah's lifetime, the span of Sarah's life, came to 127 years, because that's English. But in fact, Shnei Chayei Sarah, at the very end, the years of Sarah's life, it seems extraneous. Not only is the division of the years 120 and 7 a little bit strange, the final recitation of the word Shnei Chayei Sarah with no number attached feels strange. Rashi says about this that the word years is repeated without a number to indicate that they were all equally good. And in fact, I want to raise up the greatest Torah commentator of the past century, Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, alav hashalom, Chief Rabbi of Great Britain, an incredible author, spokesperson, an advocate for Jewish strength and global solidarity with each other. His comment on this parsha begins with referencing the Rashi commentary that I just read, that Sarah's life was all good, that the reason the verse is phrased the way it is to indicate that Sarah's life, all the years, were equally good. And Rabbi Sacks points out, you wouldn't have said that. Looking at her experiences, twice she is convinced by her husband Avraham to pretend that she is his sister in foreign places so that he will survive, but she is taken both times from him and she is saved by God, but in both situations it's deeply vulnerable. It is incredibly complicated on a gender level, reading the text. That wasn't good. She wasn't able to have a child, and then she had to witness her husband's ability to have a child with someone else, and then she has to expel, or she chooses to expel, Hagar and Ishmael, and then she loses Yitzchak. And those are not the only hard parts of her life. What is it to see the end of Sarah's life, which has been complicated, described as all good? And in this parsha, we see the death of Avraham too. And this is chapter 24, verse 1, Chavdalad, Pasuk Aleph. V'Avraham zaken ba bayamim, v'Adonai berach et Avraham bakol. Less awkward phrasing, still emotional, and this introduces his search through Eliezer, his servant, for a bride for Isaac. Remember the story that we read yesterday, a love that will knock you off your camel. This translation is, Abraham was now old, advanced in years, and God had blessed Avraham in all things. Think about what we know about Avraham's life. Does that feel true? God blessed Avraham with all things? First of all, he loses his father and then is told to leave. When he leaves, he is promised by God that he will have so many children, his descendants will number as the stars and the grains of sand, and he will inherit the land. None of that becomes true during his lifetime. In fact, he loses his first child, Yishmael, and then he almost loses, at his own hand by God's command, Yitzchak. And then he loses Sarah. And the rabbis go so far, it's a funny linguistic thing, that when the text says, Vadonai berach et Avram bakol, and God blessed Avram bakol, it's not clear how that could be true with the rabbis saying the Talmud, because Avraham never had a daughter. How could he have been blessed with everything if he only had sons? Now, first of all, we love our children. regardless, right? This is the classic story. Rabbi, Rabbi, I know you and your wife are expecting a child. Is it going to be a boy or a girl? The rabbi says, yes. We are blessed no matter because we love our children. But what's interesting about this is that the rabbis say he wasn't fully blessed because he didn't have a daughter. And then they say, he was blessed with a daughter. If you listen closely to the verse, Vadonai berach et Avram bakol, and God blessed Avram bakol. God blessed Avram with a daughter whose name was Bakol. And then grammarians like Ibn Ezra say, no, no, no. If that was what the verse meant, it would have said, Vadonai berach et Avram ba bakol, with Bakol. All I'm saying is, how is it possible for us to understand, as readers of the text, of children of Avram and Sarah, how is it possible for us to hear this phrase and think that it could ring true for Avram, that he was blessed with all things? That question is asked eloquently by Rabbi Sacks in a podcast on this parsha. I hope that you will look for his Torah everywhere you possibly can. And Rabbi Sacks brings in commentaries from Holocaust survivors, from Shoah survivors, some of whom have written extensively, like Viktor Frankl and others, about what it is to still feel life in the context of trauma and devastating loss. And those are obviously extreme examples. But life is full of frustration. No life is untouched. As Paul Simon sang, I don't know a soul that's not been shattered. I don't know a soul that feels at ease. It's so important for us to understand what Rabbi Sacks is suggesting, and I'll do my best to articulate it very briefly here. The reason why Sarah's life felt good to her, and the reason why Abraham's life felt good to him, is because the way we die, this is how Rabbi Sacks puts it, is a reflection of the way we've lived. How do we live our lives? Not, is life always kind and just and fair? It's not. We will all experience unjust things, things that are not fair, twists of fate, and please God, not in the extremes. But even if not in the extremes, life, the experience of life, that's a choice we make. Viktor Frankl, in his glorious, glorious short book, Man's Search for Meaning, quotes Tanakh, quotes the Hebrew Bible from Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, where it says, Ki azah kamavet ahava, for love is stronger than death. Logically, that's a complicated claim. Doesn't it end with death? Doesn't death win? And the answer is no. Not according to Jewish tradition. Death is not the end, and love is stronger than it. To quote not a rabbi, but a sage that my father quotes often in his teachings, country singer Garth Brooks sings a song. He actually didn't write the words, but he made it famous. A song called The Dance. Right. The chorus says, our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I would have had to miss the dance. We are called to live while we are alive. And to live not without agitation. We're called to respond to the world and raise it up, which means there are reasons sometimes to be upset, reasons to be frustrated, reasons to be angry. But the question is, can we live fully while the world is the way the world is, while our lives face the challenges and frustrations we face? About Sarah, we hear, Vayu Chayei Sarah me'ah shana ve'esrim shana ve'sheva shanim shnei Chayei Sarah. Her life was blessed. According to Rashi's reading, every year was a blessing. Friends, every year should be a blessing. Every day should be a blessing. Every moment should be a blessing. We should find each other every day. Every day. We bless the beginning of every day together, 670 days together so far. And we should live fully in our ancestors' memories, in their honor, as their students, as their children. And when we hear the Gemara understand that Avram's life was full, we don't understand from the outside, but his inner serenity somehow. Now again, when we're looking at other parshiot, we can analyze other facets of the full person Avraham was, but we still don't understand the internal emotionality of Avraham. Maybe the best we can do is look in and think about how we experience our own life. Do we count our blessings? Every day, 100 blessings at least. Do we count them? One of them is this experience that you and I have shared, that we're sharing right now. Another is that we pray for each other, as we have in the comments and in our souls, praying for each other and for our families. Every second of life should be fully lived, and in that way, it is a blessing. Life can be hard. We're so lucky to have that chance to live more fully, to experience life with all of its complexity, and to sing, and to dance, and to learn, and to love, and to do justice. This is a blessing, friends. Life doesn't last forever, and sometimes it's not fair, but we have work to do, and that is a good thing. This is a strange way to end a piece of Torah with which to begin the day, but let me do it anyway. May we be blessed that one day someone hears our name and says, oh, they were blessed. They lived every day as a blessing. They made every day count. In that way, we are children of Avram and Sarah today. May the memories of our ancestors be for a blessing, and may we bless every single day so that we are remembered just like we remember our ancestors too. Have a beautiful day, friends. Let's sing our way into a good one. We'll see each other tomorrow. Ya la 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 la, diddy ya la la la, diddy ya la 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 la, ay ay la la la, ay la 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 la, diddy ya la la la, diddy ya la 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 la, ay ay la la la. Bless you, friends. Take care.